Good morning, Olivia Deeble. Welcome on VH Berries.
Hi, it's so good to be here.
I am super grateful. There are three times the letter E in the name Olivia Deeble. A little bit like the three things that Charlotte, your character, is juggling in your series. I am talking about school, job, and social life.
Absolutely, she is. Yeah, she's trying to navigate how difficult it is to be a teenager and all the things that she has to go through.
Absolutely. I was saying to myself that Olivia Deebles is kinda seeing things that nobody's seeing, which is a superpower that you are transcribing into an original series.
Thank you very much. It's very lovely of you to say.
So I would love to discuss about this series called the MTT, More Than This, in which you are playing Charlotte, which is a character that is obviously juggling with these three elements, but also is very precocious and mature.
Yeah, so we wanted to write something that, I wanted to make something that was authentic for teenagers like myself and was telling real teenage stories, instead of having older people dictate for us what they think we should be going through or how we actually are navigating that. So that was kind of my first aim with it. And yeah, Charlotte faces some pretty serious stuff. That character goes through a lot. And as an actor, it was wonderful to play her and go through that journey with her. And as a writer, it was really interesting to delve in and see how I could write about those difficult topics without it being too taboo or inappropriate or actually not playing the stakes up high enough. So I love Charlotte.
Absolutely. We all love Charlotte. And she is so mature and precocious that she is what we can call a breadwinner, because in the series, you're literally the one feeding your father.
Absolutely. Yeah, she is. She completely is. She's had to really step up and be an adult.
I would love to know more about the behind the scenes, behind this very special creation. What would you say was the starting point of this 2 years adventure?
So it started just before lockdown, when I had, just before kind of COVID-19, when I had come up with the concept. And then from there, I pitched the idea to my friend Luca, who is trans non-binary and who also plays Jamie. And then we kind of culminated and came up with the characters. And then I approached my mum and my aunt, who are part of Baby Banksia Productions. And I said, listen, this is a show I really want to make. And they were like, yeah, this sounds great. And then we began, we started the process of writing it and script running it and blocking it out. And we interviewed about probably close to 50 teenagers and asked them what kind of stuff they wanted to see on screen. And they gave us some really awesome feedback and data. And then we also did a lot of workshops with young actors that we knew. And actually those workshops then cast most of our cast. So we were working for our actors for like a long time during the writing process. And then we finally got the funding to make it, and then we made it.
You completely made it. And this very special superpower, as an observer of the teenager life, is also very interesting as an Australian, because you're bringing a fresh perspective, not only with your personal experiences, but with the ones of the 50 plus person that you have interviewed before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I really wanted to make sure that the show rang true for everyone, even if it was just a little component. I didn't want it to feel unauthentic or that we were trying to ostracize or cut out anyone or invalidate anyone's high school experience when we were making our show. So, yeah.
Absolutely, because you don't want to be pointing at someone, for example, a special stories that someone told you during one of these Zoom meetings.
Yeah, exactly. And then going, this is exactly what happened, or I think your story is silly. So, yeah, we really wanted to culminate and make sure that all of the characters were really full and fruitful and really interesting characters that people could follow along and want to continue to see their journey.
For sure. And from what I've learned from those 6 episodes, is that for someone who is not living inside your life and the one of your friends, all of this, especially those teenager years, can be seen as a hurricane slow motion in which every feelings are multiplicates and more powerful, like an echo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes pleasant things happens on interval, always unexpected.
God, you always do your homework. You always do your homework. You've got it down pat. I should have cast you in it to say the last little intro. You should have had a role in it.
What should I do in the series?
I don't know. Maybe you'll just come in and be like the magic fairy narrator, and then you'll fly away again.
I literally have 0 skills in acting, but I can bring my French accent voiceover in English.
There you go. Perfect. I just need a French accent voiceover in English. That's real. Honestly, I'll have to reshoot the show. That's what it was missing. That's what it was missing.
I just use this very powerful word of voiceover because this is a crucial element in the series as the stories evolves with a very special narrator. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so we wanted for the voiceover component that happens at the end of episode 1 and at episode 6 to tie in again to high school. So the idea is that they're writing an essay about themselves. It's a really personal, creative essay, but then also it helps us to kind of gauge where the characters are at, or as a blanket how they're feeling, and it really sets the tone and the feel then for the rest of the episode. So, you know, as you were just reciting off before, every character has a little bit of a voiceover, and then we kind of delve deeper in further into that then in their allocated episode later in the series. And then at the end, you can see that their voiceovers have really changed and that they're saying really different things now. Or they haven't really at all. And it's just about the progression that then those characters have gone through throughout the series as well.
This production took around 8 weeks of recording and shootings in collaboration with, as you just mentioned at the very beginning, Baby Banksia, which is your studio production. How was the atmosphere on set? Because I can always imagine, for example, for lunch, cooking your own food around a great barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, it was wonderful. You know, Baby Banksia, I'll let you know a little secret, is run by my mother, Kate Gorman, and my aunt, Kate Gorman. Oh, I've screwed that up. I said my mum's name twice. Hang on, I'm still going. Let me just repeat that bit. I'll let you in on a little secret. Baby Banksia is run by my mother, Kate Gorman, and my aunt, Charmaine Gorman. And they were wonderful. You know, they're two such incredibly strong women who I love dearly. And they really taught me a thing or two, and we got it done so quickly. And there was always time for fun and laughter, but there was also a level of seriousness about it, and that, you know, things had to get done, and that they would get done, and that we were going to make them done as quickly as we possibly could, and as well as we possibly could, and it needed to be of the highest caliber. So they really taught me a thing about professionalism and working together, and it was wonderful working with such hard women so consistently.
This horizon was very far, and from a very reliable sources, I can testify, Olivia Deeble, that you worked very, 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 very hard.
Thank you very much. Who's your reliable source? Who's your reliable source?
This very special series called More Than This was directed with John Deby and co-written with one of their best friend called Luca Gracie.
So John Sheedy is an amazing director who my mother had been really good friends with for a long time, and I had watched some of his artwork and his projects, and I had loved them so much. So it just kind of made sense to ask him to come on, and then he brought this really great level of atmosphere, and he was, his creativity was awesome. He was so funny, and his episodes turned out beautifully, as did my mother's as well. And they were a really nice balance as well. It was really nice working with both my mother as a director and John Sheedy as a director. They both brought such interesting components together.
Absolutely. And Olivia Lillian Deeble, I would love to discuss about another project that was a headline in the beginning of this new decade. I'm talking about Secret Society of Second-Born Royals. But before we jump in, I can already see a connection because the movies is talking about characters that are part of a very established family, and I can make a direct link with your family, who was into the cinema and entertaining business for 3 generations.
Yeah, absolutely. I come from a long line of actors who I love all so dearly.
The difference between the real life as Olivia Deeble and the character of Princess Roxana is maybe the superpower of being transparent. Invisible.
Yeah, I think that's true. That is true. I feel like Roxana I don't know, maybe one of the characters I was the least similar to, which made her so fun to play. I loved putting on an accent. I loved her wardrobe and her costumes, her makeup. I thought she was really funny. I loved playing her. I thought she was hilarious. All the stunts that she had to do, I think, were great as well. But she was a real character that I was lucky enough to get to inhabit.
This movie is very colorful. In terms of the rhythm, everything goes very fast. Can you tell us about the process of making it, or even the experience in the more global view?
Yeah, so making it was kind of something like I'd never done it before in that way, again, coming from Australia. And it took about 4 months. It took, so you had, I think the same basis is the same of how you make a movie. Like, there's lights, there's cameras, you rehearse, you go on set. But there was a lot more at stake. There was a lot more money. There was a lot more opportunities and like utilities and things that could be used in locations and stuff like that. But it was amazing. It was an incredible opportunity. Being able to use the special effects in that way, or the stunts in that way, was incredible. I was so lucky that I got to do that so young.
Obviously, as you just said, there are more budget and food tables, and also more budget for the treadmill torture moment.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so with one of the scenes that I was doing, I had to be running on a treadmill and also on a bike. And the way that we shot that scene was in a car like a climate chamber, which is where they test out cars. They throw, intense things at it to see what they can withstand, what the car can withstand. And so as an Australian, I probably haven't been below maybe 10 degrees Celsius heat. And when I was in there, it was probably below 40. It was probably below 40. So that was the coldest I'd ever been. And then I was on a bike, and to top it off, they were also throwing snow at me. And I was so cold. I got almost frostbite on my nose and on my ears. And then they were chucking down rain at me when it was freezing cold. And I had a harness on. And it was all insane. It was ridiculous. But that's showbiz, baby. That's showbiz.
Absolutely. I can feel the emotion in your voice, Olivia Deeble.
Yeah.
You're still thinking of it and being tortured by it.
I'm still traumatized. But to be fair, it was also really fun. But yeah, I was freezing.
As you just mentioned before, Olivia Deeble, you are and you were born and growing up in Melbourne, in Australia. And you have a very special stories. For example, traveling, leaving the country, going to Toronto for some shootings, and even in California. This has been very intense those last years.
Yeah, it's been a real whirlwind, but I do miss it, I'd say. I think it was all very intense when I was over there, and then, I got a taste of Hollywood. And then we went into lockdown, and that was really tricky because I felt like I was a little bit stagnant for a little bit. Navigating, pushing through, and feeling good about it, and knowing what I want for myself and from the industry. Oh, sorry, I yawned. I'll repeat that. And trying to figure out myself during lockdown, and also what I want to do with myself as an actor. So I do miss it, but I was so lucky that I got that opportunity so young, and that I got to do it so young, and that I didn't get to miss out on it. And hopefully I'll go back soon.
You will be going back soon, and this is very inspiring, Olivia Lillian Deeble, because as a baby Banksia, and this time I'm talking about the real plant, you were growing internally during this lockdown, and it was now looking back, a very creative period in terms of writing, for example, with More Than This, but also with mental health and self-reflection.
Yeah, it really has been. I think now that we're out of the thick of COVID, you can sit back and reflect on what you went through and how your life has been. And it absolutely has been. I've been so creative in the aspect of More Than This, but also, reflecting on my own mental health and thinking about how I can look after myself better and trying to raise awareness that we're all going through some difficult times.
Absolutely. And this difficult time was also a way to remind yourself, for example, of the clique around you. And by saying the word clique, this means your close friends and family, a little bit like the ones that we are seeing in this television series. Can you tell us about your personal meaning of this word?
I think I don't see a clique as, I guess I see clique as a posse. So it's a group of people who follow you around and that you guys are together. But I guess I think I've only really heard the term be used not as a negative, but as almost a cynical or in a joking way. I don't necessarily see it in the kind of the same light as a positive, but my family and my friends, but I'm also Australian and things can get mixed up down under here. So I wouldn't put all your eggs into the basket of me knowing what I'm talking about. But my family and friends are the most important people to me because they trust me and they hold me and they love me and they're incredibly supportive.
That's fantastic. And I can feel very strongly, Olivia Lillian Deeble, that this clique is going to move forward, for example, in Los Angeles, California, as you just mentioned, but more importantly, on the next season of MTT.
Yeah, so if we do go forward to making season 2, which I really hope we do, I want there to be a real essence of family and support and camaraderie and everyone being together and everyone having to go through things and everyone, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to repeat that bit. If More Than This does go through to season 2, my real aim is for the students to have to really step up and make decisions that are going to affect their later life, and knowing what it's like to be an adult and what it is to have to change and evolve and grow and maneuver yourselves to be your own individual, and that family and friends are really important, but that also you need to pick and choose who you keep at your closest, because some people may not love and appreciate you.
And as the day of today, have you already thought of some plot scenes and, for example, the beginning of the new storyline for the next chapter?
Yeah, we're actually quite far along. We wanted to kind of get it all kind of organized and ready. So we've written a lot of the ideas down for season 2, and we kind of pretty much know how we'd like it to go. And I've actually started writing season 2, but we shall see where that goes. I don't have an answer yet.
We are going to see, and very hopefully, Olivia Deeble, this time, this is not going to take 8 weeks of recordings, but more something like 15 weeks of recording.
Wouldn't that be nice? I wish. We'll probably have to do it in a short time frame again. It's okay. My mother, my aunt, and I like a challenge. We like to push ourselves to the very limits to get for some good art.
You're pushing your own limits. Olivia Deeble, thank you so much for your time, and I'm wishing you the best.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed myself.